Here we go again. Another royal trip, paid for by us, the taxpayers. It's a familiar scene, isn't it? The royal family, with all their pomp and circumstance, embarking on yet another journey, while the rest of us watch from the sidelines, our pockets a little lighter. This time, Prince William jets off to Brazil to collect an environmental award. Yes, you heard that right. An award for his contributions to saving the planet. It's a noble cause, but the irony is hard to miss. The irony? He's praised for saving the planet while racking up more carbon emissions than a small village. The jet engines roar, leaving a trail of exhaust that seems to mock the very cause he's being honoured for. It's a spectacle, and the punchline lands on our wallets. The headlines scream about the costs, and we can't help but wonder if this is really where our hard-earned money should be going. The trip is called essential. But for whom? Not for struggling nurses, who work tirelessly day and night, often without the resources they desperately need, or families choosing between heating and eating. These are the real essentials, the everyday struggles that many face, yet seem to be overlooked in favour of royal extravagance. No, it's essential for the royal family's image to look busy and relevant. It's a carefully crafted narrative designed to maintain their status and influence. William boards a private jet, smiles for the cameras, and the world watches. It's a well-rehearsed performance, one that we've seen time and time again, and accepts a shiny trophy. The applause is loud, but the questions linger. What does this really achieve? The cost? £250,000, our money, spent on jet fuel and luxury hotels. It's a staggering amount, one that could be put to much better use. Imagine what that could do. Fund nurses, insulate homes, feed hungry children. These are the investments that truly matter, the ones that make a real difference in people's lives. Instead, it's spent so a wealthy man can lecture us on being green. The irony is palpable, as he stands there, speaking of sustainability while living a life of luxury. The monarchy is a machine for turning public money into private luxury, all under the guise of public service. It's a system that seems increasingly out of touch with the realities faced by ordinary people. Prince William is just playing his part in a very expensive, outdated play. It's a performance that feels more and more disconnected from the world we live in. And frankly, the tickets have become far too expensive for what we're getting. The audience is growing weary, and the question remains, how long will we continue to pay for this show? Let's talk about the jet, a private charter, the kind billionaires use. These aren't just any planes, they're flying symbols of exclusivity, comfort, and, let's be honest, excess. Every detail, from the plush leather seats to the gourmet catering, screams luxury. But there's something else these jets represent, a massive carbon footprint far greater than any commercial flight. It's the ultimate contradiction. William, the self-styled eco-warrior, flying thousands of miles for an environmental award. The irony is hard to ignore. He's celebrated for his commitment to the planet, yet his journey to accept that very recognition leaves a trail of emissions behind. It's a paradox that's almost too on the nose. The palace PR machine claims it's the most efficient option, citing security and carbon offsets. They argue that, for someone of his status, there's simply no alternative. But is that really true, or just a convenient excuse? The carbon offset certificates are waved around like magic wands, as if they erase the environmental cost with a signature. But offsetting is like eating a cake and donating a fiver to a gym. It doesn't undo the damage. It's a symbolic gesture, not a solution. The calories are still there, just as the emissions are still in the atmosphere. Offsetting can help, but it's not a free pass to pollute. Royals preach conservation while living in luxury. Their palaces are heated, their cars are chauffeured, and their wardrobes are filled with designer clothes. It's easy to talk about saving the planet when you're surrounded by opulence, but actions speak louder than words. Imagine if a government minister or Greenpeace leader did this. The outrage would be deafening. The public would demand accountability, and the media would dissect every detail. Hypocrisy would be called out instantly, and rightly so. But for royals, the rules are different. The press coverage is glowing, not critical. Headlines praise their commitment and leadership, rarely questioning the contradictions. The royal brand seems immune to the scrutiny others face. We're expected to accept from them what we'd never tolerate from anyone else. The public is told to admire their efforts, even when those efforts are undermined by their actions. It's a double standard that's become normalized. The idea of an eco trip by private jet is nonsense, a PR stunt, not real leadership. It's about optics, not outcomes. The message is carefully crafted, but the reality doesn't match the rhetoric. True environmentalism means leading by example, not grand gestures. It's about making tough choices, even when they're inconvenient. Real leaders inspire change by living their values, not just talking about them. Flying a private jet to Brazil to talk about the environment is pure performance. It's theatre, designed to impress, but ultimately empty. The emissions from that flight outweigh any speech given on stage. It's a hollow gesture, disconnected from the cause. The symbolism falls flat when the actions behind it don't measure up. People notice the gap between words and deeds. The double standard is breathtaking. It's a privilege few can afford, and even fewer are called out for. The contradiction is hiding in plain sight. Royals want the moral high ground, but keep the perks of monarchy. They want to be seen as modern, responsible leaders, yet they cling to the traditions and luxuries of the past. It's a balancing act that's becoming harder to justify. It's time to call out the contradiction. If we want real progress, we need honesty, accountability, and leaders who practice what they preach. The planet deserves nothing less. This isn't new. Royal tours have always been expensive and pointless. It's a family tradition, jetting off, shaking hands, and generating headlines. The script never changes, just the locations and outfits. Remember William and Kate's Caribbean tour? It was meant to charm, but looked colonial and sparked protests. The result? A PR disaster at huge taxpayer expense. Their Pakistan trip? More money, more security, and a few Instagram photos. Did it change anything? No. It was a costly photo shoot disguised as work. The benefits are always vague, but the costs are crystal clear. These trips are about maintaining the illusion of relevance, not diplomacy. The monarchy's brand is looking tired and very overpriced. While William sips champagne at 30,000 feet, Britain struggles. The NHS is crumbling, people can't afford basics, and food bank use is at a record high. Yet we find $250,000 for a royal trip. It's not just wasteful, it's a slap in the face to those struggling. The royals live in a different universe, insulated from real problems. They don't worry about bills or food prices. Their lives are funded by us. This growing gap is unsustainable. The monarchy claims to unite the nation, but seems oblivious to its struggles. This Brazil trip is a symbol of an institution detached from the country it's meant to serve. Now let's see how this is spun for us. The palace PR team sets the narrative. William is a climate hero on a vital mission. The press laps it up, reporting the palace's version as fact. Headlines glow, photos show William looking thoughtful in the jungle. There's rarely any critical analysis, no mention of hypocrisy or cost. The media treats us like we're dazzled by royal glamour. Their job should be to hold power to account, not act as a publicity arm. By failing to question, they help sell the myth that these trips are valuable. Criticism is shut down, dissent discouraged, but we have a right to ask how our money is spent and expect real scrutiny. Let's talk money. When it comes to the monarchy, the numbers are eye-watering, and it's important to look at what we're actually getting for our investment. The sovereign grant was over $86 million last year, before you even factor in the secretive, undisclosed security costs that taxpayers also cover. That's a massive sum, especially in times of economic uncertainty. We're constantly told the royals are worth every penny because they boost tourism and help sell the idea of brand Britain to the world. But if you look closer, most tourists come for the rich history, the iconic buildings, and the centuries-old traditions, not necessarily for the people currently living in these palaces at public expense. Just look at France. Their palaces are packed with visitors, and they haven't had a monarchy for generations. Clearly, royal residents aren't the main draw, so the tourism argument starts to look pretty flimsy. If that's not the real return, what is? Supporters say the monarchy is all about soft power, but recent royal tours have been awkward, sometimes even sparking protests and negative headlines, rather than goodwill. In reality, we're paying hundreds of millions for a symbol, something that's supposed to represent national unity, but doesn't always deliver real influence or tangible benefits. The costs are enormous, while the benefits are vague, sentimental, and often hard to measure in any meaningful way. For example, the money spent on just one royal trip, like William's visit to Brazil, could pay the annual salaries of 7 NHS nurses, making a real difference in people's lives. Maybe it's time we have an honest, open conversation about what the monarchy truly offers, and whether it's really worth the price we all pay. Why do we tolerate this? Habit, tradition, and a national soap opera. The monarchy feels permanent, like drizzle or train delays. We're taught not to question, and the press reinforces the fairy tale. Criticizing the royals is seen as unpatriotic, so most just go along. But things are changing. The late Queen's popularity masked the cracks. Now people, especially the young, are questioning the institution. The cost of living crisis makes royal extravagance harder to stomach. Deference is eroding, replaced by resentment and a demand for fairness. The old magic is fading. People see the monarchy as inherited privilege, out of step with modern Britain. The demand for change is growing. So what was William's Brazil trip? A $250,000 photo op. It was PR, not planet-saving, a bid to keep the royal brand alive. That money could have helped people here, not vanished in jet fuel. This isn't about William personally, but a system that encourages hypocrisy and waste. The monarchy must prove its worth or fade away. It needs to be accountable, transparent, and relevant. Trips like this highlight its extravagance and disconnect. Next time you see a royal photo op, ask what it cost and if it was worth it.
To all my amazing and curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching our videos, and do not forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment. Bye bye. See you in our next episode. Bye.